Hi, I just wanted to do another video blog. I think I'm going to try to do these more often. I always say that, but I just never get around to it. It's hard sometimes to get my thoughts organized. Um, I do these videos for people that are like on my friends list. I don't know who all watches them. It's not anything fancy, just kind of telling my story and what's on my heart. And hopefully somebody out there will listen and it could help them. Um, I am a certified family and marriage counselor, also a trauma counselor, and an addiction counselor. I believe that all three of these things kind of fit together. Trauma always starts, there's a root of trauma that always develops in somebody that is carried over from their parents into their life, and it's just a vicious cycle. So I encourage you, if you have children and you want to end the cycle with yourself so that your children aren't affected, please follow my video blogs. And I speak as somebody who not only has experienced abuse as a child, but has also been abusive toward her children in one way or another. And I'm not going to lie. And it's just part of the vicious cycle that I finally feel I've broken. And I'll just kind of go back to that whole dynamic of my relationship with my kids. I'm a divorced mother of three. I have 3 children that are young adults. We had a very unstable life, with them growing up. We moved a lot. I raised them in a very religious atmosphere, and I don't regret that because I know it built a good, strong foundation for them. Sometimes I was over the top with my religion, and I will admit that, and I know that's probably part of some of the abuse that they've witnessed and that they've experienced growing up. So my children know that I love them, and anything that's hurt them, I apologize. Now, that doesn't take away from the fact that it happened and it could cause them trauma, and they have built some kind of response to the trauma and how it affects them. So we work a little bit. It's layers of things that need to be worked through, but at least when we recognize our trauma response to certain situations, we can flip it and we can change our behavior. That's part of healing from trauma. Realizing that you project the trauma onto your children or other people because of the hurt and your experience with it. That's your response to the trauma, and or something coming up. There's different types of trauma. There's different types of responses. There's different type of coping. But for those who want to be healthy and want to learn how to reverse the trauma that they've endured, you would want to recognize when you are responding to a traumatic experience. And oftentimes it looks like acting before thinking, or I should say reacting. Sometimes you have to stop and think about something before you react to it. And it's hard to say that to somebody who thinks a lot, who's an overthinker as myself. However, it's taken years of practice to wait a minute, pause, what you're thinking might not be true, learn to communicate in a calm manner, think about what you're going to say before you say it. Don't react, like physically react to something. Just it's all, and there's a phrase, it's called practice the pause, and that's something that's taken me a lot of self-discipline to do. Because because of anger that I've built up, because of the trauma, because of a lack of understanding. That's something that I've learned to do, not only for others, but for myself. Okay, Katie, I understand what you're thinking. Self-talk helps. I understand what you're thinking. I understand what you used to do is you would lash out at people, but now you have to stop and think, is that person thinking rationally? Do they mean to say that, or do they mean to do that? What are they thinking? I've really had to learn, of course, the empath in myself always looks to, okay, what are they going through? Something's going on. Trying to put myself in their shoes. But because of that, I've been able to stop and practice the pause and reflect on what I'm going to say, or how I'm going to react, or what I'm going to do, or and it's taken a lot of discipline. But the reason why people lash out like that, or they get angry, or they react instead of, take a step back and assess what's going on before they react and lash out. It's a trigger. It's the way they respond to trauma. Oh my gosh, something's going to happen. Somebody's going to do something. Somebody's going to say something, and they've reacted to something they think is going to happen, or something that reminds them of a trauma that happened in their life, so they react. If they were always yelled at as a child, and I'll use my son as an example. I see myself in him so much because automatically he puts his defense up when he gets mad, and he gets angry, because I used to do that with him because of my trauma response. That's my defense. I'm going to overpower you because I was always overpowered by something or somebody. Well, somebody. I'm going to go ahead and put my defenses up before I even think about what I'm going to do or say about what's going on. And it's taken a lot, and we still do that. We're working on our communication. And he's going to be 18 years old. He lashes out in anger because he misunderstands, or he knows that that's the only way that I'm going to get attention, or his attention, because that's what I used to do to him. See how the vicious cycle works? But I've learned to practice the pause and communicate. And I'm not saying I've mastered it. And I've been working on it for years and still have not mastered it. But at the end of the day, I can sit down with my son and say, I love you, and I'm sorry if I hurt you today. I'm sorry if I lashed out. I'm sorry if what I said hurt your feelings, or I'm sorry. That is the most powerful words to me, just as powerful as telling somebody you love them, is apologizing to them. So, next video. Have a good night.